Cats often get the reputation that they are low maintenance, but honestly, that's a myth. And it's a myth that costs them a lot. So, today, let's look at all the things said about them in this regard and why they are absolutely not true. Welcome to the Practical Pet Parenting Podcast, where science and research meets simplicity, practicality, and humor. Because we all know that pet parenting isn't just one thing. It's magical, beautiful, life-changing, frustrating, and overwhelming all at the same time. I'm Dr. Ashita Suresh, a vet, a mom, a dog mom, on the multiple species pet parenting journey just like so many of you. Join me as we cut through the noise, fear, and fluff and take pet parenting from overwhelming to, well, barely manageable. So, the first thing that gets said about cats is that they are very chill and laid back. And sure, they may not be as in your face as dogs, but this just means that they're more like the kind of person who thinks that, admitting any sort of feeling is a weakness. We all know that kind of person. Cats rarely show outright signs of illness and discomfort, and more often than not, the biggest indicator of some pretty major diseases is that they go just a bit off food or they just don't do the things like that they used to anymore. So just because they don't express it outright does not mean that they don't get sick, stressed, or hurt. The second one being that they can be left alone, aram se. While they technically can, just like dogs technically can, it doesn't mean that it's good for them. Cats get bored and stressed just as easily as dogs, and they can turn to boredom eating and get physically ill from it also. They need play and mental stimulation just as much as dogs do, or even more, maybe, since they are essentially hunters and they keep their brains and bodies very active in the wild because of this activity. Third, they don't need much care. Yes, they do. They absolutely need vaccinations, deworming, grooming, and even dental care. This is something that needs to die out, and this needed to die yesterday. Next, that they don't need training. Again, yes, they do. They need litter training, training to use scratch posts, training to be given medication. You can even teach them to do tricks if you're willing to train them. But they do need some sort of training, definitely. The next one, kind of related to the first point, they don't get sick often. No, they do. We just don't notice often. Cats are so good at hiding illness that they often show no symptoms till they're very advanced. And like I said, the symptoms might just be that they go a tiny bit off food, they might be still eating, or they might not jump like they used to, walk like they used to, like small things, but they can be indicators of advanced disease just because they're so good at hiding it. And the last one is that they don't show love or they don't feel love and loyalty as much as dogs do, and they're fine on their own. This is the equivalent of saying that someone is speaking nonsense just because you don't understand the language that they are speaking. They absolutely can and they absolutely do show love. They get very attached to their humans and show separation anxiety, just like dogs do. There are plenty of ways they show love, like following you around, slow blinking at you, bringing you toys, and there's so much more that they do. Subtle, but it is definitely there. Ultimately, cats are some of the most loving and misunderstood creatures, but their differences from dogs cannot be a reason to neglect them and their needs. Just because they don't outright demand attention, love, and care, it does not mean that the need isn't there. Thank you so much for listening to the Practical Pet Parenting Podcast. If you found this helpful, don't forget to follow, rate, or review. Whatever your podcasting app allows you to do it. You can also find me on Instagram at Indian Pet Vet and read more at practicalpetparenting.com. Much love to you and your pets, and see you next week.